Love is powerful, but it's not always enough. Staying in a relationship solely because of love can lead to emotional stagnation, pain, and even regret. While it may seem counterintuitive, sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and even for your partner is walk away. Here are powerful, valid reasons to end a relationship, even if you're still deeply in love. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like to the channel, and hit the bell for more videos. Constant emotional pain. Love should not come at the cost of your mental peace. If you're consistently anxious, sad, or drained around your partner, it's a red flag. Emotional turmoil is not a foundation for a thriving relationship. Lack of respect. Without mutual respect, love becomes toxic. Disrespect may not always be loud. It could be passive dismissiveness, belittling, or ignoring your needs. If your worth isn't being honored, love alone can't fix it. Different life goals. If your dreams, values, or long-term plans no longer align, whether it's about children, careers, or lifestyle, it can slowly unravel even the most passionate connection. Compatibility in life vision matters as much as emotional connection. Repeated betrayals. Forgiveness is noble, but trust is fragile. Repeated cheating, broken promises, or lies corrode the foundation of love. If rebuilding trust feels impossible, staying only prolongs the inevitable heartbreak. Emotional unavailability. You might love someone who can't open up, commit, or meet your emotional needs. If you're the only one doing the emotional work, the imbalance will wear you down regardless of how much love is present. Abuse, in any form. This includes physical, emotional, financial, or verbal abuse. Love does not excuse cruelty. You deserve to feel safe and supported. No feeling of attachment justifies enduring harm. You've outgrown the relationship. Sometimes personal growth takes you in a direction your partner can't or won't follow. Growth shouldn't be sacrificed for the sake of staying. It's okay to outgrow a dynamic that once worked. One-sided effort. If you're constantly the one initiating conversations, solving problems, or making compromises, it becomes exhausting. Relationships require mutual effort. Love cannot survive long-term without shared responsibility. Suppressed identity. Do you feel like you have to shrink, filter, or hide who you truly are just to keep the peace? If you're losing your authenticity, it's a sign that the love you share is conditional, not freeing. Lack of intimacy. Intimacy isn't just physical, it's also emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. If you're in love but feel like roommates or strangers, the connection may be fading in a way that love can't revive alone. Fear of being alone. Staying out of fear, not love, is a trap. If your relationship exists just to avoid loneliness, it's time to look inward. The right relationship should be a choice, not a crutch. Feeling unseen or unheard. Love includes understanding. If you constantly feel dismissed, invalidated, or invisible, you're not truly being loved, just tolerated. Cycles of toxic behavior. On-again, off-again relationships or repeated patterns of arguments, manipulation, or emotional chaos signal instability. Love should feel like a sanctuary, not a battlefield. Loss of trust in yourself. If being with someone makes you question your worth, your instincts, or your judgment, that's not love. It's erosion of self. Reclaiming your peace may mean letting go. They're not growing with you. When one partner grows while the other stays stagnant or resistant to change, resentment brews. A healthy relationship evolves with both people, not just one. You're the only one making sacrifices. When only one person is adjusting, compromising, or giving things up to make the relationship work, resentment builds. It should be a two-way street. The relationship feels stagnant. If growth has stopped, individually or together, it's a sign. Love should inspire evolution, not trap you in sameness or boredom. You feel more lonely with them than without. Being in a relationship should make you feel connected. If your partner makes you feel more isolated than supported, it's time to reflect. They guilt trip you. Often, if they use your love against you to manipulate your choices or emotions, that's not love. It's control. They don't celebrate your success. A partner who's threatened by your accomplishments or doesn't uplift you when you win is not a healthy teammate. You have to explain basic empathy. If they don't try to understand your pain or needs, and you constantly have to explain why something matters, that's emotional neglect. They bring out the worst in you. Some relationships amplify your insecurities, fears, or anger. If you don't like who you are around them, it's worth examining. Love feels conditional. Do you feel accepted only when you meet their expectations? Real love embraces the whole you, not a version they prefer. You're always walking on eggshells. If you're afraid of their reactions, temper, or judgments, you're not in a safe or trusting space. They avoid accountability. If they blame others, dodge responsibility, and never apologize sincerely, meaningful resolution is impossible. You can't be honest without backlash. Truth should be safe in love. If you're scared to express your real feelings or needs, you're not in an emotionally mature bond. You want different levels of commitment. If one person wants marriage and the other doesn't believe in labels, someone will eventually feel unfulfilled. You keep justifying their bad behavior. If you're constantly making excuses for how they treat you, it may be love clouding your judgment. There's no shared vision of the future. Love needs direction. If you're not aligned in where you're headed, you'll drift apart despite how you feel now. You feel like a caretaker, not a partner. When the relationship becomes one-sided, constantly managing their emotions, responsibilities, or needs, you stop being a lover and become their therapist or parent. That's not sustainable. You can't be yourself around them. If you're constantly filtering your words, dimming your personality, or changing who you are to keep the peace, you're losing yourself to maintain the relationship. They hold grudges instead of resolving issues. Healthy couples fight fair and seek solutions. If your partner holds on to past wrongs and keeps punishing you emotionally, the love turns toxic over time. You're always the first to apologize, even when you're not wrong. If the peace in your relationship depends on your constant apologies or emotional labor, you're being manipulated, not loved. You're afraid to ask for what you need. Whether it's affection, space, or emotional support, feeling scared to speak your truth indicates a lack of emotional safety. The relationship doesn't align with your values anymore. Even if there's still love, differences in core values like parenting, religion, money, or lifestyle can cause long-term emotional friction. You're staying because you're afraid of being alone. Fear-based love isn't love, it's survival. A relationship built on loneliness will never give you true joy or fulfillment. You've become emotionally exhausted. If you feel like you're carrying the emotional weight of the relationship alone, you'll eventually burn out. They don't support your healing. If you're working on past trauma, growth, or mental health, and they dismiss or sabotage your progress, it's a deal breaker. Sex feels like a duty or transaction. Healthy intimacy should be mutual and emotionally connected. If sex feels one-sided or like a chore, the disconnect may be irreparable. They invalidate your trauma. If your experiences are mocked, dismissed, or minimized, it's emotional abuse, no matter how much you love them. You keep hoping they'll change. Waiting for someone to become who you need them to be keeps you stuck. You can't force evolution that they're not ready for. You're more in love with the idea of them. Sometimes, we fall for potential, not reality. It's painful, but loving the fantasy keeps you from building a real, healthy connection. Their presence blocks your peace. If you feel more anxious with them than without them, your nervous system is already telling you the truth. They're addicted or deep in self-destructive patterns. You can love someone and still need to step back for your own survival, especially if they refuse help or recovery. Your friends or family notice a change in you. If the people who love you see you're less joyful, more withdrawn, or changed in a negative way, pay attention. You feel trapped, not chosen. If staying feels like a trap or obligation rather than a joyful choice, the relationship has lost its essence. They don't put in the effort anymore. Love requires energy. When your partner stops showing up emotionally, physically, or mentally, it's not sustainable. You feel like a burden. If you are made to feel like your emotions, needs, or presence are too much, it chips away at your self-worth. They gaslight you. If you constantly question your own reality or feel manipulated into believing you're wrong, it's emotional abuse. They keep you a secret. A loving partner will proudly acknowledge you. If you're hidden, there's a reason, and it's rarely a good one. Repetitive verbal abuse, name-calling, put-downs, and disrespect aren't love. Even if they say, "I'm just being honest," you're waiting for the right time to leave. There's no perfect time. If you've already emotionally checked out, delaying only prolongs your pain. You can't imagine a future without pain. If thinking about the next 5 years with them brings dread instead of hope, that's your sign. You no longer feel inspired. Love should motivate, not drain. If you've lost passion, dreams, or excitement, the connection may have expired. Your instincts are screaming. Sometimes your gut knows before your heart is ready to admit it. Listen, your intuition doesn't lie. You don't like who you've become. If you're more anxious, bitter, or closed off in the relationship than before, it's time to reclaim your true self. You're staying out of guilt. If you feel like leaving would hurt them too much, but you're suffering daily, remember, your peace matters too. Conclusion. Loving someone doesn't mean you're obligated to stay when the relationship stops serving your well-being. You can love and still leave. You can grieve and still grow. Choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. And one day, you'll thank yourself for walking away with your dignity intact.